Today we're going to have a look at the main riff for Back in Black. Stick around. Hello everyone, it's James from Practice Like a Pro, providing you with simple clear guitar tips to help you on your guitar playing journey. So we're going to have a look at the main riff for Back in Black today. I'm going to teach the riff as it's played, and then I've got a little bit of something to show you later on in the video if you're struggling with the last part with the stretch to make it a bit more accessible. Let's get to it. Okay, this is what we're going for. So let's break that down. So there's three open chords, what I call cowboy chords for this, which is E, D and A. So E looks like that. So starting from the 6th string all the way to the bottom, you've got open, 2, 2, 1, open, open. We're just going to do one big strum of that chord and then we're going to mute it. Now can you see with this hand I'm stopping the strings from vibrating just after I've picked the chord. Now you can let it ring out, but it doesn't sound quite the same, so try and get that choppiness in. Then we're going to go to a D chord, so just your bog standard D chord. So starting from the D string, you've got 0, 2, 3, 2. And we're going to do like a little flick with this. You're going to go down, up, down. And again, you're going to stop the strings from vibrating after you've played the three notes. So far you've got E, D, then we're going to go to A major, which is starting from the A string, it's 0, 2, 2, 2, 0. Now you can play it like this where you put the 3 fingers on top of each other. I prefer to do it with 1 finger just because of the size of my hands. Either way is fine. Just be wary when you play the A chord with 1 finger, you do catch that 2nd fret on the high E as well, so try not to pick it. Just as before with the D chord, we're going to do exactly the same with the A and kill it. That's all the chords for this riff. Let's glue it all together. So you've got E, 3 Ds, 3 As. Then we've got the first lead guitar bit that comes from the E minor pentatonic scale in open position. So we're going to start with this 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string, and I'm picking that with a downstroke. Then I'm going to let go of the string and pick the string open. I'm going to move to the D string and do exactly the same thing. 3 and 0. Now when we get to this 2, I like to do this with my 2nd finger because we're going to bend it. We're going to bend it up and then bring it back down. You see what I'm doing there? So you've got 3, 0, 3, 0. Now that note lasts a little bit longer than the previous 2. You don't want to go because effectively you're playing 2 notes. The one that's being bent and then the one that's being brought down, but you're only picking it once. And then you've got a 0 on the G to finish that off. Now, sometimes I pull it off, sometimes I pick it. Either way is fine. See how I did a pull off there? I think Angus actually picks it, but like I said, either way is fine. So that's the first part. Moving on to the second part of the riff, the chords in the beginning are the same. So you've got the 1 E, you've got the 3 Ds, and the 3 As. Now you've got this kind of jumbled up riff going on. Now this is how Angus plays it. If the stretch is too much, we have got a way to kind of get around this using the finger per fret rule. But let's do it the way that Angus is doing it first. Now you've got what I call it a pedal tone, where you come back to 1 note sort of every other note, and the ones in between it are changing. You'll see what I mean. So we start with the 2nd fret on the A string, and I'm doing a downstroke. That's with my index finger. It's really important that you use your index finger there, because I'm going to play the 4th fret of the low E string with an upstroke with my ring finger. I'm going to go back to the 2 with a downstroke. Now I'm going to go to the 5th fret of the low E string this time with an upstroke, back with a downstroke to the 2. Now I've got to get to fret 6, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of a position shift. Back to the 2 with a downstroke, and then you've got a 7. So I've got to do that is quite a way, and you don't have to stretch it because I can feel all this tension in my wrist down here. Do a position shift. I'll play the whole thing slowly for you. When you get to that 7, you'll see a line that sort of tails off. That means once you play that with your little finger, you want to slide down. Now, bear in mind, it's the very last bastion of the bar before the whole thing starts again. So you need to get to that E in as much of a hurry after playing that note on the 7th fret. You're almost sliding down into that. So that's second part in its entirety. Let's glue both bits together. Now, if you're struggling with that second bit, you can do that sort of jumbled up notes without all on one string without as much of a stretch. It's exactly the same notes. It's just not as Angus is playing it. I actually played it like this for a really long time until I watched I think it was live at Donington, and I watched him play it and I'm like, oh, that's different. So I went away and learnt it. So the pedal, you know how I said that the 2nd fret on the A was the pedal tone? We're going to use the 7th fret on the low E string as its pedal, and you're always going to use your pinky for this. This is all down and up picking, it's all alternate picking, okay? So we've got 7 on the E with a downstroke, using his index finger to go to fret 4 with an upstroke. This is all on the same string. Back to fret 7 with the pinky with a downstroke. Then you've got the 5th fret with his middle finger. Back to the 7. Then you've got the 6 with your ring finger. And then you've got 2 7s. You could use your first finger if you wanted, but you're going to get sort of jumbled up. And I'll play that second part of the riff with the alternating parts, and you'll hear it doesn't really sound much different. There's not a lot in it. It just depends how authentic you want to be. So let's just quickly talk about tone. I mean, it wouldn't be an AC/DC lesson if I wasn't using the Gibson SG, as Angus is probably one of the most famous Gibson SG players. You can play this on anything really. You know, you could even do it on acoustic guitar. That bend might be a little bit tricky, but I mean, I don't think you'll struggle with it too much. Angus was famous for using a Gibson SG into an old school sort of Marshall plexi. I know that's a JCM, but an old-fashioned Marshall, and a clean boost as well for the solos. Now I'm using reverb today just because everybody likes reverb. A lot of Angus's guitar tracks didn't actually use reverb, and so just bear that in mind. I'm using the bridge pickup, and the amp really isn't that pushed. If I clean it up, there's not loads and loads and loads of gain on it. If you're practicing this at home, literally don't take your gain knob past sort of 12 o'clock, really, because the more distortion you pile into it, the muddier it's going to sound. And part of AC/DC's charm is everybody thinks they're heavier than they actually are. All it is the sort of 50 and 100 watt Marshalls that they were using. They're just kind of opening them up a bit. They're not diming them like sort of more synonymous with Guns N' Roses and Slash and those guys. So just bear that in mind, not too much gain. I hope you found that useful today. If you did, please let us know in the comments below and let us know how you're getting on with it. If you'd like me to do the whole lesson, including the solo, let me know in the comments. If you like what we do here at Practice Like a Pro, please do consider subscribing. We upload 3 lessons a week. We don't just do rock stuff. We've got acoustic, finger picking, all sorts of stuff. Check it out. And over here, if you want to learn something else, we've got some other videos for you to check out if you fancy learning something else. Until I see you next time, thank you very much. Keep practicing like a pro. Cheers.